Hi everyone, I can kind of see you. There's lights in my face. My name is Gorjan. I come from teeny tiny country of Macedonia down south. And today, a lot of people gave you tips on what to do in B2B. My idea was to keep giving you tips, but I think you've had a lot of tips. I'll tell you what not to do in B2B, especially coming from our own experience as a technical founder that has no clue how to do B2B sales, or at least had no clue how to do B2B sales, and all of the little problems that we had going forward in this sphere. So my name is Gorjan. I am a CEO and everything else in a very tiny startup called Hylosense from Skopje. We work with energy companies and we help them better forecast the weather. So I'm the weather guy, I'm the meteorologist in the room. But I've been working with weather and climate data for the past 10 years. We built an app called Air Care. You might have heard of it. It was here in the Balkans about air quality tracking, especially Skopje is quite polluted in the winter, so we help people know what they breathe on their phone. Got that to millions of people around the world, got awards from United Nations, Forbes, BBC, Google, NASA. It was a great story. It was very, very fun. And throughout this journey, I decided, you know what? I don't want to work in corporate anymore. I want to be a startup founder. I want to work with my best friend who's recording me here. And I want to build something that is quite cool from our little country of Macedonia. So initially, we built an app called Air Care. And that app that we grew to 2 million people around the world literally helps people know what they breathe. You can look on your phone. Today, you probably have it on your weather app. But before you didn't. So we sourced a lot of data about air quality and from governmental stations and satellites and whatnot, and it was a very cool thing. But it seemed like we had a problem turning that into an actual startup, even though we were full-time working on that thing. We sat down with Techstars. If you guys have heard of Techstars, it's a great accelerating program. If you haven't, looked them up. These guys were great. They really pushed us through. They called us in Berlin. They said, hey, come be part of this process. I think you guys are onto something, but we don't really see it. And we come there and we felt like the hotshots, the big guys in the room. Everyone kept telling us, you're great. You're doing a huge impact. Your name's up there in Forbes, which probably today is not the best thing ever. I don't know, you have billboards and whatnot. So everybody really loves you. I mean, the president of Macedonia gave you an award. And we go there and we're super happy and we tell them we're the best startup in the region, in the world, and look all the impact. And they ask us, okay, so how much money do you make? And we proudly tell them $2,000 a month. And they look at us, and I think that was the hardest slap someone has given me without actually giving me a slap. Because to that point, everyone was tapping us on the back and like, you guys are like the best. You kill in what you do. And suddenly we realized, no, not really. $2,000 a month. What do you do with that? I mean, even though we're not that expensive of a country, it's still a freaking small amount of money. So our pivoting moment started from there, and this is where I start my story, where we realized, okay, we're in trouble. We need to figure things out. So we started experimenting with a lot of stuff. Said, okay, this air quality thing, maybe it'll go somewhere, maybe it's not going to go anywhere. We're going to start, we're going to try, we're going to see what happens, and we're going to be the best at it because we still have this huge ego and we really believe that we can crush it. But what we realized throughout this whole thing, and I'll show you how to look at these things, is especially if you're a technical founder, other speakers before me said you want to build. You want to go very quickly, you want to build because it's our comfort zone. I don't like selling. Don't tell that to my investors who are sitting in the audience and listening to this. I'm a technical guy. I love to build. Of course, now I have to go out and sell. But building was my kind of passion. So I would go out and build a bunch of these prototypes. But it turns out you got to ask yourself 4 questions before you do this, especially if you're a technical founder. Please leave the code alone. Don't touch Claude. I know you have the urgency to give it a little prompt so it can do stuff in the background. Don't do it. Ask yourself 4 questions every time you want to talk to a prospect, and do not build until you have a yes to all of these. Is the pain you're solving real? Is the pain you're solving big? Is the pain you're solving current? And is the pain you're solving worth paying for? I know a bunch of you will say this makes a lot of sense. Now in retrospect, I say the same thing too, but I have to keep reminding myself the same thing. When we were in Techstars, the guys told us, if your head hurts, are you going to take a vitamin or a painkiller? Of course you're going to take the painkiller. So what you want to do is you want to build the painkiller thing. Don't build the vitamin. Don't build the nice to have. Because the moment another recession, the moment another war breaks out somewhere, the moment the budgets tighten, you don't want to be the first thing that goes out the door. And that's what we could have been many, many times if we had not asked ourselves these questions. I even tell this analogy in our office. I mean, we have the internet and we have a water cooler. The moment when we start running out of funds, what are we kicking out? Probably not the internet, most likely the water cooler. So don't be the water cooler. So we're in Berlin. We get told that we're not the best hotshot startup ever. And luckily, during this acceleration program, Audi was one of their partners. And we said, you know what? We can work with Audi. We can work with the automotive industry. So we built this thing, this idea of a prototype. You know what? Your car will be connected to our sensors around the world, and we'll know the air quality outside, so your windows will automatically close. And the AC will kind of turn on this in-car circulation thing. And we went all in with this because like there's this big company here, they're happy to work with startups, and we have data, and maybe this thing will work. And we spend a couple of months on this, and we're prototyping, we're talking back and forth. It was such an exciting moment, like Audi, the big names, and we tell everyone, guys, we're the big car. The pain wasn't real. Like honestly, you traveling with a car and the car automatically rolls up the windows and cuts your hand off, or the AC just starts playing around with itself. We've already seen too many AI movies where the AI takes over. The pain wasn't there. It was a great experience. The innovation department loved to try it out, but we learned the pain was definitely not there. And even if it was, to roll this out to vehicles, it would take anywhere from 5 to 7 years. We would be dead, way dead. I mean, financially, hopefully not physically. So we realized the pain wasn't real. So we had to stop pushing this as much as we wanted to work with Audi. So we sat down with Dragan, and one of our many identity crises said, okay, what are we doing? Air quality, this thing isn't working. We tried B2C, we tried B2B, we got to change the whole thing. So we went into an adjacent vertical, which was climate. We said, let's work with climate data. Let's see if we can scale up that thing. And who has problems with climate? Insurance companies. Insurance companies face problems with the climate crisis and have to insure stuff and policies and quick verifications and whatnot. This seems like a great market to be in. The pain is real. We sat down, we talked to 20 insurance companies. They all told us, yes, we feel the pain. So I'm like, okay, then 100% we're going in on this. We're selling everything to insurance now. As you can probably tell, that wasn't the best of ideas as well. We got 2 pilots, free pilots, which is also a problem. Don't do free pilots, do paid pilots. We've got 2 free pilots with large insurance companies, and we have the letters of intent, kind of the pilots hooked onto our wall in the office, and a big clown face on top of that, because we were the clowns throughout this whole story. We spent months working on gathering climate data and delivering it via an API and building these dashboards and whatnot. And then we asked one of these companies, okay, what did you guys do with the data? Weren't you supposed to look at prices and policies and stuff like this? And they said, yeah, we have a demo, let me show you. And they sent over a video file. I'm hugely excited. I can show this to the investors and we can close a round. And I look at the demo file and it's a VR game. The guys built a VR simulator of the city of Munich where you walk around in a 3D version of Munich and you select the date and time, and if it was very heavily raining, you would see heavy rain. That's how they were using our data. And I go back and I'm like, guys, who's going to use this? Who's paying for it? What's the whole? Oh, customers will use it for sure. Yeah, people at home are going to put on VR headsets to look at it. So I'm like, okay, these guys are definitely not serious about it. Let's rush over to the other guys. They did some analysis, some numbers were coming in, it was good. Said, okay, great. So these guys, they seem to really like us. Can you talk to our potential investors? Can you call them? And I know they're in the room here. They have a call with the investors and they tell the investors, oh, we can do this. We don't actually like the startup. We don't care. I mean, sure, it's good data, but we'll do this in-house. Mid-round, we're fundraising and this happens. I did not want to get out of bed the next morning. I felt horrible because not only did I realize the pain wasn't big enough and they didn't really care, I also almost screwed up around because we blindly believed that the customers were telling us what they thought. So we had to get out of there. In the whole process of getting out of there, the Macedonian Banking Association shows up and they say, hey guys, we love what you're doing. We need your help. Climate is connected to E and ESG and environment, and you guys are techies and we need this solution reporting platform thing. I'm like, sure, okay, wait a minute. Is the pain real? Yes, all of the banks in the whole country need this. Great, okay, cool. Is it big enough? Yes, we must look at all of our customers, otherwise regulatory problems. Great. So we built this platform and we spent weekends in building something like this on like climate data and connects to your data and ESG and everything's great. What were we willing for this? The law didn't get implemented. So they had no real reason to do this. And suddenly all of the banks said, you know what, nah, later, not now. And we have this beautiful piece of software just sitting in our repo doing nothing because we thought we now knew the pain was real. We knew the pain was big enough. Turns out it wasn't their pain right now. Back to the drawing board. This is the unfun side of being a startup that you don't see on LinkedIn. And I know a bunch of you has probably went through all of this, but we try to also show this side of how much it hurts. And then we get to the climate reports. And now we're very desperate at this point. I'm like, okay, we got to do something that works. So we're going to do climate reporting, and we find a bunch of consultants that do climate reports, and we say we have a lot of this data, and we can build you a nice report. It's a one-time thing, fine for a company, but we can do this. And these reports were great. I mean, they calculated the probability of floods or wildfires, historical events of earthquakes and storms. So these were great. And we started getting money. I'm like, okay, cool. Money is rolling in the bank. So this is going to be the big thing. The pain was real because, yes, climate is a problem. It was big enough. There were companies that needed these types of climate reports, and they needed them now because I don't know, you're building a wind farm, you're building a solar farm. You want to know if your investment will get run over by a wildfire in 2 years or not. And it turns out that they were willing to pay us $1,000 per report, maybe $2,000 per report, which is not a lot. We couldn't scale this to the amount that we needed it to scale as a startup. There was money there. We couldn't get it to work. We went to one of these largest three-letter consultants companies, and we talked to them and we said, hey, let's work together. Let's make a partnership. And they said, sure, we'll pay you, what was it, $12 a report, $10 a report? What do you mean we'll pay? We sell these for $2,000. We have to take our share. We suddenly realized there's no good market for a startup to do this. It costs too little. We can't really make a billion-dollar company out of something like this. So through the whole, 3 years, 2 years of this, we figured out these things the hard way. And I really wished someone would came and kind of slap us in the face like this. And from time to time, we would get these wake-up calls. And suddenly around this time, I think we met Petra, and she also gave us a little bit of slap in the face of, what are you guys doing? So to land on something that is now called today hylosense. And hylosense is what we're building right now, and hopefully at least answered the 4 questions. Maybe there's a secret question number 5 that we'll learn throughout the whole concept. And it is a solution to help energy companies better forecast the weather where they generate energy, because that then helps them understand how much energy they will make tomorrow. This is a whole thing, energy trading, stability in the markets. It was a whole complex niche that we needed to build. And the best thing about it is me and Dragan were very tired at this point. We have a very cool picture that I didn't include here because he probably will shoot me, of the last New Year, not this one, the previous one, where we were totally burnt out. We're sitting in the office, the New Year party is over, everyone's home. It's just me and him looking the most depressed as possible and kind of taking our image off the window with a tree in the background, which was supposed to be all jolly, and we're done. Oh my God, we don't know what to do. Luckily, we land in the energy space, which seemed to be much faster than insurance, much more innovative than normal climate reports, and a big pain, which translated to millions of dollars per year per energy asset that these guys were having. But we said, listen, we're not building anything. We're not going to do this until we know that we've ticked all of these questions. So we sat down with our first large client, a huge energy company from the UK, and we told them, listen, explain. Tell us A, B, C, and D. And we have to understand that this is going to be big, that you're going to be willing to pay for this, and that we can replicate this with not only you, but all of the other energy companies, because otherwise we will be just a software development company making a software solution for you. So we sat down, we got all of these answers in, and we managed to figure out that yes, these guys need better weather forecasts. The weather forecasts today don't work for them. Yes, it costs them a lot of money. They lose it when they do a small error in weather forecast. It costs them millions per year. Yes, we will give you money for a paid pilot. And yes, we want to do it now. And suddenly we had the 4 yeses. So we said, okay, now we're actually going to go all in. And luckily, this was the break we needed. We managed to close the round. We managed to get some of the largest energy companies in Europe to work with us. And we're now scaling this out, not only to Europe, but hopefully across the pond as well. What do I want you guys to take out of this? A bunch of you are entrepreneurs here. We know that entrepreneurialism isn't as sexy as we all like it to be, especially when we put it on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, we're the best. We kill. We do all of these cool things. In the backgrounds, we all go through these motions. So if anything you take out of this talk, the next time you want to build a product, the next time you want to talk to a potential client, please answer these 4 questions. Don't have the urge to sit down and code like we do, like I do, but answer these questions first, figure out if this is the best target that you have, and only then spend some time building a prototype and seeing if this works. Otherwise, you will probably go through the cycles that we went, and that's not something that I would highly recommend you do unless you have a lot of free time and spare cash. If you do, then just give it to us. So this was the story of hylosense. We've changed the name so much, I keep getting confused. Just take your time to figure everything out before you build. If you do that, then you will not spend too much time as we did before. And that is our story of both pivots, pilots, and the polite little lies that we were hearing constantly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gorjan, for the honest story, sharing the experience. And I hope that these mindset changes that you explain on practical examples, you will tackle some and learn, because you can grow much faster. And I can assure you that. So thank you, Gorjan. You will be there available also for one-on-one meetings. As said before, I don't know how many of you have been here before. Please rate speakers. Yeah, and that's it. Do you have any questions?
Hi, do you think it's even possible to be a successful founder without experiencing all these pivots?
Probably not. Probably not. So you're going to go through some of this, but hopefully you get to learn these lessons faster than we did. That's the whole point. You're going to go through failure, you're going to go through pivots, but at least not spend a year building something for insurance that turns out that we'll need to scrap and throw in the garbage bin. That's my whole point here. If you're able to quickly figure these things out and pivot faster, you've done a much better job than I have before, now that I can apply it going forward. That's the only difference.
So it's just about decreasing the price of learning how to do business properly.
Fail fast. I mean, I used to work for Booking.com back in the day, and we had this thing called fail fast. The whole point was go as quick as possible, make mistakes, break stuff, and then use that knowledge forward. If you spend too much time in love with your product, in love with the idea of what it could grow, then chances are you're going to run out of money or run out of time, and less amounts, like the previous speaker said, to have shots at the goal.
Hello, I understood that from the beginning all the examples you gave were very specific, very focused. First you wanted to help the Audi, actually, not the automobile industry, but Audi. Then you wanted to help insurance companies. Now you end up with energy companies, solar power plants and wind farms. Was this your main idea, your main strategy in the beginning, to be very focused? Because this kind of data can be applied in many, many industries, and you were probably going to many different industries, or from the beginning you became very focused?
Depends. So with Audi, we were just there. It was just the moment of opportunity. They were a partner in a program where we were, so we said, let's try. Because it was a very close possible collaboration, and very many doors were already open. After that, we sat down and we made a list of possible markets that we would like to enter. Insurance, for us, seemed like the biggest market at the time because we hadn't answered those questions, and that's why we went there. Energy was the second one. So it was already there on our radar, and the whole idea was, hey, let's move the climate stuff to energy. Turns out we moved both to energy and changed the idea of the product. So yes, you can apply this to a bunch of places, whether if we talk about it now, it can go anywhere from data centers to agriculture to transport and aviation. But then if we spread too much, we're a team of 6, we would spread too thin. So we tried to find the vertical that had the biggest problem right now, and that could pay us the largest amount of money. And it turned out for us, that was energy. And this is why we're focused there. Hopefully one day we grow big enough and we're able to have multiple verticals where we attack, great. But right now, strict focus seems to help us a lot more.